No matter how much they try, it's just the thing. People who tried to do so much right for Aboriginal people really destroyed Aboriginal people, sorry to say, but a lot of part of that is true because they don't know the culture, they didn't understand the laws and the kinship of Aboriginal people, and they didn't understand what the country meant to Aboriginal people, you know, their country. So there's countries inside countries within Aboriginal law, and each time it's respected. So, you know, to move people from their country to me, was a lot of destruction in that time. Even now, trying to do it now in today will be a lot of destruction as well. And I think they're going the wrong way again. Even though they think they're doing the right thing, they're not doing the right thing. You know, because like I said, this is still a young country. 220 years, that's not much for people to adjust, no matter how much. Like I said, we have got a culture. You can't take the culture out of the people. No matter how much you try, it's still there. I think they were taken off there for the early war, you know, for the war that came. I acknowledge those elders. They are very important to this area. Some of them are still alive today. It was a big area for Aboriginal people. There was a couple of tribes in the area apparently, and it's one of the big midden areas from there along Beach. So it's an important area for Aboriginal people. There's also some burials along Port Kembla Beach that were done that people don't know about. But it was a very significant area for Aboriginal people because not only for the seafoods, but also for a lookout, you know, for other tribal people coming and going, and, you know, a good food area for them. So, yeah, it was one of the main areas for Aboriginal people, that area.
Okay, well, it actually began as a rural community, but it quickly became a vast industrial port after the Port Kembla Steelworks was established, and it's your classic industrial portside town. You had a settled Aboriginal population living a semi or almost completely traditional lifestyle, but then that is totally sabotaged, and that obviously has vast effects on a community. Well, there was really no one living there before the Aboriginal population were moved down there in 1942. It's a coastal, swampy sort of area, low-lying, sandy, but they were going to, in later years, use that area as a rubbish dump. So it was the most appalling place to move an Aboriginal population to, particularly when they so enjoyed all the amenity of living high up on Hill 60 and living a semi-traditional lifestyle.
Well, Kumadichi's been a no-go area for a lot of people for a lot of years, even when it was over here at the lagoon, when they lived in sugar bag and tin shacks, and you know, and their floors were sand floors. Kumadichi has changed. We were known as the Bronx. A lot of people were very scared of Kumadichi. A lot of people never allowed their kids to come to Kumadichi, simply because of things that they were, you know, told or taught or that they thought. So a lot of those things cause racism.
Well, racism, I think, is the common denominator throughout Australian society. But Port Kembla was an unusual place. Because Hill 60 was a little bit secluded from the town, the Aboriginal population could be both integrated in the community and also separate. And I think it created a fairly harmonious relationship between the white people and the Indigenous people. But because of the proximity to the steelworks and the port, many Aboriginal men got jobs on the Port Kembla wharves. And the Port Kembla Wharf Labourers Union was an incredibly strong and very politically conscious group. And they ensured that in some places in Australia, Aborigines couldn't drink in the local pubs. But the wharfies in Port Kembla said, well, they work with us and they're going to drink in that pub. And if you choose to exclude them, well, you'll go broke because we won't drink there anymore. And there was even a picture theatre called the White Way Picture Theatre in Wentworth Street, Port Kembla, which once had seats at the front that were cut off and where Aboriginal people had to sit. But the Wharf Labourers Union quickly said, well, we're not copying that anymore, and that element of racism was quickly removed because they said, we just won't patronise your picture show if you don't treat everybody the same. So it was an extraordinary place in terms of overcoming racism.
If people get more understanding, they might break down a bit of racism. And also people who teach their kids racism need a little bit more understanding because they're teaching things or they see things that they think they know about, but they don't. You know, I come across a 60-year-old man that said, you know, he said, yeah, but yous are all alcoholics. And I said, where'd you get that from? And he goes, I see it on TV. I said, oh, wow, well, I see all your people on TV. I see a lot of people you've drunk on TV that ain't black. I said, they're not Aboriginal, they're white. I said, but I don't think your nationality's alcoholics. So, you know, when you put it like that, and that was only like a year ago. And that comes from a 60-something-year-old man. So how do you break down racism?